The snow was falling so hard that Sophia could barely see through the thick white curtain in front of her. She hugged her thin jacket tighter around her shivering body as she sat on the cold metal bench at the bus stop, knowing that no bus would come tonight in this terrible storm. That's when she heard the small voice that would change her life forever. "Excuse me, lady," said a tiny girl with curly brown hair and big blue eyes. "You look really cold and sad. Do you need help?" Sophia looked up to see a little girl, maybe 5 years old, standing in front of her with a man who was clearly her father. The man looked worried and was trying to pull his daughter away from the homeless woman. "Eva, come on," the man said gently. "We need to get home before the storm gets worse." But the little girl didn't move. Instead, she looked directly at Sophia with the kind of innocent honesty that only children possess. "Daddy," Eva said loudly enough for Sophia to hear every word, "I think this lady needs a home, and I need a mommy. Maybe we can help each other." Sophia's heart stopped. This little girl, this complete stranger, had just offered her a home and asked her to be her mother, all in the same breath. The father's face went white with shock. Sophia felt tears freezing on her cheeks. And Eva stood there smiling like she had just solved the world's biggest problem. But what none of them knew was that this moment, this impossible, beautiful, terrifying moment, was about to lead to the most shocking discovery any of them could have imagined. Because Sophia wasn't just any homeless woman. She was someone whose past would either heal this broken little family or destroy them completely. And by tomorrow morning, one of them would make a decision that would change all their lives in ways they never saw coming. Earlier that day, Ryan Matthews sat at his kitchen table, staring at a stack of bills while his 5-year-old daughter, Eva, played with her dolls in the living room. It had been 2 years since his wife, Sarah, died in a car accident, and Ryan still felt lost trying to raise Eva by himself. "Daddy," Eva called out, "can you help me brush my doll's hair? I want her to look pretty for her mommy." Ryan's heart ached every time Eva talked about mommies. His daughter had been only 3 when Sarah died, and she barely remembered her real mother. But lately, Eva had been asking more and more questions about why she didn't have a mommy like the other kids at school. "Sure, sweetheart," Ryan said, walking over to sit with his daughter. "Which doll needs help?" Eva held up a doll with messy blonde hair. "This one. Her name is Lonely Lady and she doesn't have a family. I want to make her feel better." Ryan gently brushed the doll's hair while Eva watched. "Why did you name her Lonely Lady?" "Because she looks sad, just like you do sometimes, Daddy." Ryan was surprised by his daughter's observation. He tried so hard to hide his loneliness and sadness from Eva, but children see more than adults think they do. "Do you think I look sad, Eva?" Eva nodded seriously. "Sometimes. Especially when you think I'm not looking. And I get sad too because I don't have a mommy to braid my hair or read me bedtime stories like other kids." Ryan felt his chest tighten with guilt. He tried his best to be both mother and father to Eva, but there were some things he just couldn't do the way a mother could. "I'm sorry, baby. I know it's hard sometimes." Eva climbed onto his lap and hugged him. "It's okay, Daddy. Maybe someday we'll find someone who needs a family just like we need her." Ryan had no idea how prophetic his 5-year-old daughter's words would turn out to be. Meanwhile, across town, 26-year-old Sophia Chen sat in a coffee shop, trying to make a single cup of coffee last as long as possible while she figured out where she would sleep that night. 6 months ago, Sophia had been a successful fashion designer with her own apartment, a thriving business, and a bright future. But then her business partner Marcus had accused her of stealing designs and stealing money from their company. The accusations were completely false, but Marcus had powerful friends and expensive lawyers. Before Sophia knew what was happening, she had lost her job, her apartment, her savings, and her reputation. No one would hire her because they believed Marcus's lies. Now Sophia was homeless, sleeping in shelters when she could get a bed, and spending cold nights on park benches or in 24-hour laundromats when she couldn't. The worst part wasn't being homeless. The worst part was feeling like no one in the world cared whether she lived or died. Sophia had always dreamed of having a family of her own. She had grown up in foster care and had always promised herself that someday she would create the loving home she had never had as a child. But now, at 26, she was further from that dream than ever before. As the coffee shop prepared to close, Sophia gathered her few belongings and walked outside into the falling snow. The bus stop was her only option for shelter tonight, even though she knew it would be freezing. She sat down on the metal bench and closed her eyes, trying not to think about how hungry she was or how cold she felt. That's when she heard footsteps approaching through the snow. "Eva, slow down," Ryan called as his daughter ran ahead of him toward the bus stop. "The sidewalks are slippery." But Eva had spotted something that made her forget all about being careful. There was a woman sitting alone on the bench, and she looked like she needed help. "Daddy, look," Eva whispered loudly as Ryan caught up to her. "That lady looks really sad and cold." Ryan looked at the woman his daughter was pointing to. She was young, probably in her 20s, with long black hair and clothes that were too thin for the winter weather. She was obviously homeless, and she looked exhausted and defeated. "Eva, we shouldn't bother her," Ryan said gently. "Come on, let's go home." But Eva had already walked up to the woman. "Excuse me, lady," she said in her sweet 5-year-old voice. "You look really cold and sad. Do you need help?" The woman opened her eyes and looked at Eva with surprise. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Eva said something that shocked both Sophia and Ryan. "I think you need a home," Eva announced matter-of-factly. "And I need a mommy. Maybe we can help each other." Ryan felt his face turn red with embarrassment. "Eva, you can't just—" But he stopped talking when he saw the expression on the homeless woman's face. She was staring at his daughter with tears in her eyes, like Eva had just said the most beautiful thing she had ever heard. "I'm so sorry," Ryan said to the woman. "My daughter doesn't understand." "It's okay," the woman said quietly. Her voice was soft and kind, not what Ryan had expected. "She's very sweet." Eva stepped closer to the woman. "What's your name?" "Sophia," the woman answered. "I'm Eva, and this is my daddy Ryan. Do you really not have a home?" Sophia nodded, and Ryan could see that she was shivering badly. "Eva," Ryan said, "we should let Sophia—" But before he could finish his sentence, Sophia suddenly swayed on the bench and fell forward, collapsing into the snow. "She's sick!" Eva screamed. "Daddy, help her!" Ryan rushed forward and knelt beside Sophia, who had fainted from cold and hunger. She was burning with fever despite the freezing temperature. "We have to get her to a hospital," Ryan said, lifting Sophia in his arms. "No," Eva said urgently. "Bring her to our house. She needs a family, Daddy, just like I said." Ryan looked down at his daughter, then at the unconscious woman in his arms. Every reasonable part of his brain told him to call an ambulance and let the professionals handle this situation. But Eva was right about one thing. Sophia needed help, and something about her had touched both Ryan and Eva in a way that neither of them fully understood. "Okay," Ryan said, making a decision that would change all their lives. "We'll take her home." Ryan carried Sophia into his house and laid her on the couch while Eva fetched blankets and pillows. Sophia was still unconscious, but her fever seemed to be getting worse. "Should I call a doctor?" Ryan asked himself out loud. "I think she just needs to be warm and safe," Eva said with the wisdom that sometimes comes from the mouths of children. "She's been cold and scared for too long." Ryan made hot soup while Eva sat beside Sophia, gently patting her hand and talking to her even though she couldn't hear. "Don't worry, Sophia," Eva whispered. "You're safe now. Me and Daddy are going to take care of you." When Sophia finally woke up 3 hours later, she found herself in a warm, comfortable living room with a little girl asleep in a chair beside her and a man sitting across the room reading a book. "Where am I?" Sophia asked groggily. Ryan looked up from his book. "You're in my house. You collapsed at the bus stop and we brought you here. How are you feeling?" Sophia tried to sit up, but she was still weak. I don't understand. Why would you help me? You don't even know me." Ryan smiled gently. "My daughter Eva has very strong opinions about helping people who need it. She insisted we bring you home." Sophia looked at Eva, who was sleeping peacefully in the chair. "She's beautiful. She looks like an angel." "She is an angel," Ryan said. "Sometimes I think she sees things that adults miss." "What did she see in me?" Sophia asked quietly. Ryan was quiet for a moment. "I think she saw someone who needed a family as much as she needs a mother." Sophia felt tears in her eyes again. "Your daughter doesn't even know me. I could be dangerous or crazy or—" "Are you?" Ryan asked simply. No, Sophia said. But how do you know that? Because Eva knows, Ryan said. She has never been wrong about people. At that moment, Eva stirred in her chair and opened her eyes. When she saw that Sophia was awake, her face lit up with joy. Sophia, you're better. Eva climbed onto the couch and hugged Sophia gently. I was so worried about you. Sophia felt overwhelmed by the little girl's affection. Thank you for helping me, Eva. You and your daddy saved my life. That's what families do, Eva said matter-of-factly. They save each other. Sophia looked at Ryan, who was watching the interaction between his daughter and this stranger with amazement. Eva, Sophia said gently, I'm not part of your family. I'm just someone your daddy helped tonight. Eva shook her head firmly. No, you're wrong. I prayed for a mommy and then we found you. That's not an accident. Eva, Ryan started to say. Daddy, don't you see? Eva interrupted. Sophia needs a home and we have a big house with an extra bedroom. I need a mommy, and Sophia is nice and pretty and kind. It's perfect. Sophia felt her heart breaking. This little girl was offering her everything she had ever wanted, a home, a family, love, but Sophia knew it couldn't be that simple. Eva, sweetheart, Sophia said carefully, sometimes life is more complicated than we want it to be. I have problems that might make it hard for me to stay here. What kind of problems? Eva asked innocently. Sophia looked at Ryan, not sure how much she should say in front of a 5-year-old. It's okay, Ryan said. You don't have to explain anything tonight. You're safe here, and that's all that matters right now. But Sophia knew that sooner or later, she would have to tell them the truth about her past. And when she did, there was a good chance that this beautiful little family would realize they had made a terrible mistake by bringing her into their home. Because Sophia wasn't just homeless, she was running from people who wanted to hurt her. And by staying here, she might be putting Eva and Ryan in danger. But as she looked at Eva's trusting face and felt the first warmth and safety she had experienced in months, Sophia made a decision that would either save them all or destroy the fragile hope that was beginning to bloom in her heart. She was going to stay, at least for tonight, and tomorrow she would figure out how to tell them the truth about why she was really running, and why the people chasing her would stop at nothing to make sure she never found happiness again. The next morning, Sophia woke up to the smell of pancakes and the sound of Eva's laughter coming from the kitchen. For a moment, she forgot where she was and why she was there. The warm bed, the safety, the sounds of a happy family, it all felt like a beautiful dream. But then reality came crashing back. Sophia sat up quickly, her heart pounding with panic. She had stayed the night. She had let herself hope, and now she was putting this innocent family in terrible danger. Good morning, sleepyhead, Eva called out as she appeared in the doorway wearing pajamas with unicorns on them. Daddy made pancakes shaped like hearts. Come eat with us. Sophia looked at this sweet little girl who had already claimed her as family, and she felt her heart breaking. Eva, I need to tell you something important. Okay, but tell me while we eat. The pancakes are getting cold. Eva grabbed Sophia's hand and pulled her toward the kitchen, where Ryan was standing at the stove wearing an apron that said, World's Best Dad. How are you feeling this morning? Ryan asked with genuine concern. Better, thank you. But Ryan, we need to talk. There are things about me that you don't know, and... Sophia, Eva interrupted excitedly. Look, Daddy made your pancake in the shape of a flower because he said you're pretty like a flower. Sophia stared at the plate Eva was holding. Ryan had indeed made a pancake that looked like a flower, and it was sitting next to a glass of orange juice and fresh strawberries. You didn't have to do all this, Sophia said quietly. Yes, he did, Eva said firmly. Because you're part of our family now, and families take care of each other. Ryan looked embarrassed. Eva has decided that you're staying forever. I hope that's not too overwhelming. Sophia sat down at the kitchen table, trying to figure out how to explain that staying forever wasn't an option, not when staying could get them all hurt. This is delicious, Sophia said, taking a bite of the pancake, but I really need to tell you both something. Are you going to tell us why you were sad and homeless? Eva asked, climbing into the chair next to Sophia. Yes, sweetheart, but it's a complicated story. Eva nodded seriously. I'm very smart for 5 years old. I can understand complicated. Sophia looked at Ryan, who nodded encouragingly. Take your time. Whatever it is, we're here to listen. Sophia took a deep breath and began to tell them about her life. She explained about growing up in foster care, working hard to become a fashion designer, and building a successful business with her partner Marcus. "I thought Marcus was my friend," Sophia said. "We worked together for 3 years, and I trusted him completely. But then he met a woman named Victoria who wanted to take over our company." "What happened?" Ryan asked gently. "Marcus and Victoria came up with a plan to get rid of me. They accused me of stealing designs and stealing money from the business. None of it was true, but they had fake evidence that made it look real." Eva looked confused. "Why would they lie about you?" "Because they wanted all the money and success for themselves, sweetheart. Some people think that's more important than being honest and kind." "That's terrible," Eva said indignantly. "What did you do?" "I tried to prove that I was innocent, but Victoria's family has a lot of money and power. They hired expensive lawyers and paid people to lie about me. Before I knew it, I had lost everything. My job, my apartment, my savings, even my reputation." Ryan felt angry on Sophia's behalf. "Didn't anyone believe you?" "A few people did, but they were afraid to speak up because Victoria's family could ruin their careers too. I couldn't even get a job at a restaurant because word had spread that I was a thief." "So you became homeless," Ryan said quietly. Sophia nodded. 6 months ago, I was living my dream. Today, I'm running from people who want to make sure I never have the chance to rebuild my life." Eva reached over and took Sophia's hand. "But you're safe now. Me and Daddy won't let the bad people hurt you." Sophia felt tears in her eyes. "Eva, it's not that simple. If Marcus and Victoria find out where I am, they might try to hurt you and your daddy too." "Let them try," Eva said with fierce determination. "My daddy is very strong, and I know karate." Eva demonstrated by doing a tiny karate chop in the air, which made both Sophia and Ryan smile despite the serious conversation. "Eva's right about one thing," Ryan said. "You're safe here, and I'm not going to let anyone hurt my family." "Your family?" Sophia asked. Ryan realized what he had said and looked embarrassed. "I mean, if you want to be part of our family, Eva has already decided, but the choice is yours." Sophia stared at this man who barely knew her, but was already willing to protect her from people he had never met. "Ryan, you don't understand what you're offering. These people are dangerous. They have money, power, and connections. They could destroy your life, just like they destroyed mine." "Then we'll have to make sure they don't find you," Ryan said simply. Just as Sophia was about to respond, Ryan's phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and frowned. "I don't recognize this number," he said, "but I should probably answer it." "Hello?" Ryan said, putting the phone on speaker. "Is this Ryan Matthews?" came a woman's voice that made Sophia's blood run cold. It was Victoria. Sophia grabbed Ryan's arm and shook her head frantically, but it was too late. "Yes, this is Ryan. Who is this?" "My name is Victoria Sterling. I'm calling because I believe you may be harboring a dangerous criminal." Ryan looked at Sophia, who had gone completely pale. "I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about," Ryan said carefully. "Mr. Matthews, I'm looking for a woman named Sophia Chen. She's a thief and a fraud who has stolen a significant amount of money from my company. We have reason to believe she may be in your area." Eva looked confused and scared. Sophia felt like she was going to be sick. "Why would you think I know anything about this person?" Ryan asked. "Because, Mr. Matthews, someone matching her description was seen in your neighborhood yesterday evening. If you're hiding her, you could be charged as an accessory to multiple federal crimes." Ryan felt his anger rising. "Ma'am, I don't know who you are or what you want, but I don't appreciate being threatened." "This isn't a threat, Mr. Matthews. It's a warning. Sophia Chen is a master manipulator who preys on kind-hearted people like yourself. She'll tell you sob stories, make you feel sorry for her, and then she'll steal everything you have." Sophia stood up from the table, shaking. "Ryan, hang up the phone, please." But Victoria heard her voice. "Sophia, I know that's you." Victoria's voice became triumphant. "Mr. Matthews, you're making a terrible mistake by protecting her." "Actually," Ryan said, his voice becoming strong and confident, "I think you're the one making a mistake." "Excuse me?" "I've spent the last 12 hours getting to know Sophia, and she's one of the kindest, most honest people I've ever met. You, on the other hand, are calling strangers and making threats. Which one of us sounds like the criminal? Victoria's voice turned ice cold. Mr. Matthews, you have no idea who you're dealing with. I have resources that can make your life very difficult. And I have something you don't have, Ryan said. What's that? The truth. And people who love me enough to fight for what's right. Eva, who had been listening to the whole conversation, suddenly grabbed the phone from her father. Hey, mean lady, Eva said loudly. You leave my new mommy alone. She's nice and you're mean and we don't like you. Before anyone could stop her, Eva hung up the phone. The kitchen was silent for a moment. Then Sophia started laughing. Not happy laughter, but the kind of desperate laughter that comes when someone is overwhelmed by too many emotions at once. Eva just hung up on one of the most powerful women in the fashion industry, Sophia said through her laughter and tears. She's going to be so angry. Good, Eva said firmly. Mean people should be angry when they can't hurt nice people. Ryan put his arms around both Sophia and Eva. She's right. And Sophia, you heard what I told Victoria. You're part of this family now, and families protect each other. But Sophia shook her head and gently pulled away from Ryan's embrace. No, she said quietly. I can't let you do this. Victoria wasn't bluffing about having resources. She can make your life miserable, Ryan. She can hurt your business, get you fired, maybe even find ways to take Eva away from you. Sophia, no, listen to me. I've seen what Victoria can do to people who cross her. I won't let her destroy your family because of me. Sophia walked toward the front door and Eva chased after her. Where are you going? Eva asked, tears in her eyes. I'm leaving, sweetheart, before Victoria can hurt you and your daddy. But you can't leave, Eva cried. You're my mommy now. I chose you. Sophia knelt down so she was eye level with Eva. Eva, you're the most wonderful little girl in the world, and any woman would be lucky to be your mommy. But I'm not the right person. Yes, you are, Eva said firmly. I prayed for God to send me a mommy, and then we found you. That means you're supposed to be here. Sophia felt her heart breaking. Sometimes prayers get answered in different ways than we expect, sweetheart. Don't go, Eva whispered. Please don't leave me like my first mommy did. Those words hit Sophia like a punch to the chest. She looked at this little girl who had already lost one mother and was about to lose another, and she felt like the worst person in the world. Eva, your first mommy didn't leave you on purpose. She loved you very much. I know, Eva said, but you're choosing to leave. That's different. Sophia looked at Ryan, who was watching the conversation with tears in his eyes. Ryan, tell her this is for the best, Sophia pleaded. But Ryan surprised her. I can't tell her that because I don't believe it's true. Ryan, Sophia, I've been a single father for 2 years. I've watched my daughter struggle with not having a mother. And in less than 24 hours, you've brought more joy to this house than we've had since Sarah died. But Victoria, we'll find out that she's messing with the wrong family, Ryan said firmly. Sophia, I'm not just some random guy. I'm an investigative journalist. I know how to research people, find evidence, and expose the truth. Sophia stared at him. You're a journalist? I work for the city newspaper. I specialize in exposing corruption and fraud. If Victoria Sterling thinks she can intimidate my family, she's about to learn what happens when someone with my skills decides to fight back. Eva clapped her hands excitedly. Daddy's going to catch the bad guys. But Ryan, Sophia said, this could be dangerous. What if... She was interrupted by another phone call. This time, it was Ryan's phone, and the caller ID showed his boss at the newspaper. I have to take this, Ryan said. Hello, Jim? Ryan, I just got the most interesting call. Someone named Victoria Sterling called to complain about one of our reporters, you. She's claiming you're hiding a criminal and that the newspaper should fire you immediately. Ryan put the phone on speaker and smiled. Is that so? It is. She was very insistent that you were making a terrible mistake and that this Sophia Chen person is dangerous. She even offered to provide evidence of this woman's crimes. And what did you tell her? Jim laughed. I told her that in my 20 years of knowing you, you've never made a mistake about people. And I told her that if she has evidence of crimes, she should take it to the police, not to newspapers. Good answer. But Ryan, there's something else. After she hung up, I did some research on Victoria Sterling. You're going to find this very interesting. What did you find? Victoria Sterling has been accused of business fraud 3 times in the past 5 years, All the charges were dropped, but the pattern is clear. She finds small business owners, becomes their partner, then destroys them and takes over their companies. Sophia gasped. That's exactly what she did to me. And Ryan, Jim continued, I found 2 other women who claim Victoria Sterling stole their businesses using the exact same method she used on Sophia Chen. Are these women willing to testify? They are now. Apparently, Victoria made the mistake of calling them too, trying to discredit Sophia. Instead, she accidentally brought together all her victims. Ryan looked at Sophia with excitement. Do you know what this means? What? It means we're going to destroy Victoria Sterling the same way she's been destroying innocent people for years. 2 months later, Sophia stood in a courthouse wearing a beautiful blue dress and holding Eva's hand while they watched Victoria Sterling being led away in handcuffs. Ryan's investigation had uncovered not only Victoria's pattern of business fraud, but also evidence of money laundering, tax evasion, and bribery. Marcus, faced with the overwhelming evidence against his partner, had agreed to testify against Victoria in exchange for a reduced sentence. Is the mean lady going to jail forever? Eva asked. For a very long time, the prosecutor told her. Thanks to your new mommy's courage and your daddy's investigation, she won't be able to hurt anyone else. After the trial, the 3 of them went home to the house that Sophia now officially shared with Ryan and Eva. Ryan had helped Sophia restart her fashion design business, and she was already getting orders from clients who had heard about her case in the news. Sophia, Eva said as they walked into their house, are you happy that you're my mommy now? Sophia picked up Eva and spun her around. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. Even happier than when you had your old business? Much happier, because having a family is better than having any job or any amount of money. That evening, as Sophia tucked Eva into bed, the little girl asked her one more question. Sophia, do you remember what I said that first night at the bus stop? You said I needed a home, and you needed a mommy. Eva nodded. I was right, wasn't I? Sophia kissed Eva's forehead. You were absolutely right, sweetheart. Sometimes the most important things in life come from the most unexpected places. And sometimes, Eva said sleepily, God answers prayers in the most perfect way. As Sophia turned off the lights and walked downstairs to join Ryan, she thought about how much her life had changed since that snowy night at the bus stop. She had been homeless, hopeless, and running from people who wanted to destroy her. Now she had a daughter who loved her unconditionally, a man who had fought for her when she couldn't fight for herself, and a future that was brighter than any dream she had ever dared to have. What are you thinking about? Ryan asked as she sat down next to him on the couch. I'm thinking about how Eva was right from the very beginning, Sophia said. I did need a home and she did need a mommy. We just found each other exactly when we were supposed to. Ryan put his arm around Sophia and pulled her close. I think we all needed each other. I needed someone to help me be the father Eva deserves, and I needed someone to love who would love me back. And what do we need now? Sophia asked. Ryan smiled and looked around their warm, happy home where Eva's artwork covered the refrigerator, Sophia's design sketches were spread across the dining room table, and family photos were beginning to fill the walls. Now, Ryan said, we don't need anything else. We have everything that matters: love, family, and home. And as they sat together in the house that had become their sanctuary, Sophia knew that Eva had been right about everything. Sometimes the people who need homes and the people who need families find each other in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes a 5-year-old's innocent wisdom can solve problems that adults can't figure out. And sometimes the most beautiful families are the ones that choose each other rather than the ones that are born together. The homeless woman and the little girl who needed a mommy had saved each other, and in doing so, they had created the kind of family that dreams are made of. 1 year later. Sophia! Eva! Come see this! Ryan called from the living room. Sophia and Eva ran downstairs to find Ryan holding a newspaper with a huge smile on his face. Look at the headline, he said proudly. The front page read, Local family's courage leads to conviction of major fraud ring. Victoria Sterling sentenced to 15 years in prison. We're famous, Eva said excitedly. More importantly, Sophia said, we helped make sure Victoria can never hurt anyone else again. And, Ryan added, your story has inspired 3 other families to adopt homeless women who needed help. Sophia felt tears of happiness in her eyes. Really? Really. The newspaper has been getting calls from people who want to help homeless individuals and from homeless people who need families. Your courage started something beautiful, Sophia. Eva hugged Sophia tightly. I told you that you were special the very first day we met you. No, sweetheart, Sophia said, hugging her back. You're the special one. You saw what no one else could see, that sometimes strangers can become family if they just have the courage to love each other. And as the 3 of them stood together in their living room, surrounded by the life they had built together, Sophia knew that Eva's simple words at the bus stop had changed not just their lives, but the lives of countless other people who needed to believe that families can be found in the most unexpected places. Sometimes all it takes is one little girl brave enough to tell a stranger, you need a home and I need a mommy. And sometimes that's enough to change the world. If you enjoy this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.